back in the swing of things here, here at FSU. I guess how you feeling, with the season about to come underway?
Excited. Obviously, August 1st, first day of training, first day we get to kick the balls, be on the field, be all together, back again. It's a great day. Obviously, a little bit of an asterisk right now because obviously we're missing some bodies, thankfully, right, at the World Cup. But great first session this morning. Kids were active, lively, excited, and we're about to go in for a little bit of video.
A first session, what were the big things that you saw from your team here very early on?
Really good technically. Obviously, their brains were great. We just kind of worked on some general both attacking and defending principles within a full team shape, and we're just trying to dabble a little bit. But obviously, with this group, when you give them a little bit of dabble, they just want to talk about the next level and questions, and they want to constantly solve the game, right? Mm-hmm. And they want to be perfectionists because that's who they are, and they're true footballers. So their minds, their feet, all working well. Some rusty spots, but that's first day stuff, and unsurprised by that. A little bit of a difference this year compared to last year is we had 7 new kids on the field today, right? Mm-hmm. Whereas 1 year ago only had a few. So just trying to acclimate those players as quickly as possible. The sooner we can get new players comfortable and confident, right, and playing and not thinking so much, the better our team's going to be.
What's that adjustment been like in having, a few more newer players come in this season, not just on the field, but, getting them acclimated to the mindset here firstly?
Yeah, honestly, it's just starting, right? We had 2 transfers in Claire Rain and Taylor Huff in the spring. So much value in them having 4 months of training, 4 months of total team and program acclimation. That's a big deal, right? And so when I say 7 this morning, I don't include those 2, right? And so the other 7, right? The 7 that were new, 5 freshmen and 2 transfers, it's a total work in progress, right? We are several hours into it. We met about some stuff yesterday, the training this morning, again, the video's important. All of it. One of the things we talked about yesterday is just being a student of the game, asking questions, allowing yourself to be vulnerable. Older kids, coaching the younger players, the new players, right? Again, it goes back to comfort. The more comfortable we are, the more confident we are, then the better we play. So it's a complete work in progress.
Number of road matches early in the schedule, is that by design, just to challenge the ladies?
Yeah, that's a good question. The Texas trip was a combination return trips from prior years. I think 2019 TCU was maybe here, and 2021 A&M was here, and so those have been on the docket for a while. And then honestly, we tried really hard to get more home games, and there were not many people that wanted to come to Tallahassee. So I am still hopeful. Actually, an email went out the other day, a school in the Northeast, and I begged them to come down, but they didn't want to come down. So not by design at all, previously scheduled, and we've tried to fix it by adding home games, and unfortunately to no avail.
Entering year 2, we talked about last year a little bit. It was you entered and had to kind of forge identity of the team with was your team and the players. Do you feel like you have it's more of your program now?
Yeah, I think I'm more comfortable now. I don't really ever want to say it's my program, right? It's always going to be our program, right? And so I think the biggest thing is I'm more comfortable in year number 2, as anyone would be in year number 2, right? It's still not about trying to put a stamp on it or trying to do this, trying to do that. We're just trying to help our players be great and trying to win games, right? And that's a collective effort, right? We're on the field today, and Leilani and Beata and Lauren Flynn and all these players, they are sitting here and coaching certain players in certain situations. They're asking how we should defend and move in certain situations. So it's always a group effort, but undoubtedly, I've been through a whole fall, I've been through a whole spring, right? I'm not sitting like I was here 1 year ago today after one practice with this group, right? Like staring down the barrel. So I think comfort is much like I talked about with our players, right? When we're all more comfortable and familiar, right, with our surroundings, we can do a better job.
You mentioned the players not here, the World Cup players. How much have you been able to keep up with what they're doing and keep in contact with them and just waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning watch those games?
Yeah, every day, honestly. Even though Maria hasn't played, I was up, and she actually wasn't in the 23, so she was in the stands today. So I was texting back and forth with Maria from about 3:30 until 5 o'clock this morning. But talking to Jody, talking to Joe, talking to Heather all the time, right? After their games, before their games, throughout training, leading up to it, and in constant contact with those guys.
Coach, with the Heat, do you consider moving practices to the night, to get a little break from that? Or how do you work with that, being it's 95, 98 out there?
Yeah, so again, you talk about year 2, year 1, right? Rookie, not so smart. We trained a lot in the afternoons. I think our first afternoon session on day 1 was lightninged out, right? So we made a very conscious decision, and actually to do the opposite of what you're suggesting. We're training in the morning every day. So we'll go about 9 to 9:30 a.m. Still not cool, okay? But we all know at 8 o'clock here in Tallahassee, it's still going to be thick. Sun's going to be down, right? But it still could be thick. I don't think our strength coach, would love that from a sleep standpoint, right? It's really hard. You get off the training field at 8 o'clock, right? Because the sun's not going down you get off the training field at 10 o'clock. You're still wired. You got to eat. Now you're going to sleep late, and it just kind of throws off your rhythm. So our hard session each day will be at about 9 or 9:30 in the morning. And then by 10:30 or 11, it'll be pretty warm, but that's okay. We can get through it. It's our one real on-field hard session of the day. And then the afternoon's going to be more inside the video room, maybe an IPF, more walkthrough stuff. So in my opinion, and we said this to our team yesterday, the days of on-field two-a-days, for a variety of reasons, again, my humble opinion, are over. We still need two-a-days in terms of coaching and teaching and acclimating, but we don't need to kill these players, right? It's our job to protect them. It's our job to get the most out of them while at the same time protecting them. And I think the plan that we have will do both of those things.
You mentioned the schedule earlier, and the trouble of getting some home game stuff like there. No one not want to come down to Tallahassee, but you mentioned the road games. Do you feel like that's going to benefit you, further down the line?
Oh, no doubt. And I've never been to TCU, but for better and for worse, I've been to Texas A&M, and I've gone to Texas A&M and absolutely had, gotten punched in the mouth repeatedly, and we've gone to Texas A&M and had some success. That is a really difficult, great soccer environment, right? G. Guerreri, been there forever, has done an amazing job there, amazing program, and our players are going to be introduced to a wild environment, right? Stands sitting around the field. We've got a group of 40 to 70-year-old adults that will sit behind our bench and absolutely terrorize us for 90 minutes. And every time we try and talk and speak, they are just screaming so that we can't communicate with our team, right? And then rowdy students all around the side. So that'll be a very difficult, challenging environment, let alone a challenging team. And then TCU, what Eric Bell has done, obviously he cut his teeth here with Mark Krikorian as a longtime assistant, has done an amazing job with that program. So no doubt, we want to go and get 2 wins on the road, but just from a travel standpoint and getting adjusted to that, I mean, our first ACC weekend, single weekend, is at Clemson. But then our first double weekend, we're a long trip, right? It's a tough trip. We're at Syracuse, and then we're at UNC on the Sunday. A little bit of this weekend in Texas will help acclimate us to that.
When you're watching the World Cup and a graphic says Florida State or an announcer says Florida State, whether it's a current player or alum, what kind of pride or maybe even recruiting edge can that be for you?
All of the above, right? The first thought is thank you, Mark Krikorian, and then the second thing is, right, a lot of pride, and there have been a lot of graphics posted, and whether it's from the ACC or from the NCAA, and then they said it, I forget which game it was the other night, might have been Jody Brown's game, and they repeatedly, because Shayna Williams was obviously, now Shayna Matthews was playing in the game as well, and I think I heard Florida State mentioned probably somewhere in the 7 to 10 times range, right? That's a big deal. So from a recruiting standpoint, from a pride standpoint, from a from a brand standpoint, all of the above. All the above, it's a real big deal, and it probably upsets some of our competitors as well. That's okay.
With Mia leaving, you brought a new goalkeeper. What's that going to look like this year? Is it going to be kind of splitting with Christina, or like?
Yeah, work in progress, right? We had our first session today with Addie Todd. Addie's a great goalkeeper, right? Youth national team goalkeeper, very good with her feet, a lot of confidence, big voice, right? And Christina Roque, if you look up team player in a dictionary, there's a picture of Christina Roque. And I've told Christina this, I've told Mia this, I will forever have in my brain when Mia got back from the U20 World Cup, and I didn't know, I was a newcomer to that relationship, watching Mia and Christina embrace each other, right? Like long lost sisters when Mia came back from the U20 World Cup. And those two, their support for each other is, the other one was playing, right? Christina was never a kid who was like, I want to play every game, right? She was like, let's go, Mia. And so Christina will be the same way. And we told Addie, you come in here and you can help us win games, you're going to get your opportunity. How that's going to play and shape out, just like I said, it's all a work in progress. We've seen Addie for 90 minutes. She was good this morning, great with her feet, great charisma, great leadership and voice and presence. If that continues, she will get her opportunity.
Coach, you mentioned